You mentioned that because it reminds me of the movie Boys in the Hood when Trey mother took him to his father Furious, and he started implementing. He started laying down certain things that he wanted Trey to learn as a young boy that's going to be growing up into a young man. And one of the things that she says, well, you know, I can help him learn and grow into a boy, but I can't teach him how to be a man. And the thing is, based upon what you said, I wanted to ask you if the situation was like that, do you believe similar to how the movie portrayed it that it's possible for that child, if the father is available, even though they're in a different location, to get uh, those nuggets, those manhood nuggets, way things that is required of a young boy growing into a manhood, so he can learn from a father who is present, even though he don't live with the mother.
It's crazy you bring that movie up out of all, because that's actually what made me study screenwriting, right? John Singleton, right?
Right.
Uh, I speak about a lot of movies negatively portraying black people, right?
Right.
That brother had a message in that movie.
Right.
Serious message, right?
Right.
And I had talked about how colors promoted Bloods and Crips, right? He went outside his way. There was a war between the Bloods and Crips in the movie, but he went out his way not to glorify that.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, there was sprinkles in it
There
because
was
he kept
sprinkles.
because
He
he
was
kept it
keeping it
real
honest with what was going
about
on,
what was going
but you
on in
didn't
the
see they
community.
was overly dressed in red. You might
Right.
have seen the Bulls
He didn't
hat.
exaggerate
He didn't. You're right. He
the
didn't
portrayal of that
exaggerate the
aspect
gang
of it like in the
violence.
movie
What he
Colors.
focused more on was the fact that the mother chose children. One mother chose children based off their father, who she
Right.
favored, right? And he showed what was the ideal situation if the mother and father wasn't together. Because the mother is the first nurturer.
Right.
So the mother had him the initial stage,
Right.
right? And then he showed the father had to step in, provide the discipline, and teach him to be a man
And the direction.
and to walk and to make certain decisions. So he
Right.
didn't make the decisions that his friends made because he had guidance.
Right.
You
Good
see what I'm
point.
saying? So that was the significance of that movie, and the significance and why Ricky made it. It was we were trying to make it out that way separate because the mother always instilled that love on him.
Right.
That's why he didn't have that need to join gangs.
Like Doughboy's
Like
character.
Doughboy had the need to join the gang because he didn't feel
He
the
was rejected,
love
right? Because he was
from his
rejected
mother,
by the
right?
mother.
That's why that was a deep movie,
Right.
serious message in there, right?
Right.
And so that's why we got to be careful what we feed ourselves, right? And got to be
Right.
careful who produce, what movies we promote, and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Because a lot of black film producers and stuff write a lot of stuff that are degrading towards black people.
Right. Similar to the music that's being promoted and pushed.
Correct. John Singleton, that's a different story.
Right.
If you look at all his movies, you can see the difference as far as other movies, as far as the
Right.
black community.
Yeah, pretty much all his movies, higher learning, poetic justice. Yeah,
Yeah.
he always made sure that the most prominent aspect of all his movies was that this is the message. The message about black unity, black togetherness, searching for uh, the strength in one another and how to learn to reconnect with one another. And at the same time, despite having to fight against racist practices and whatnot, showing that black people not only can overcome that and and still manage to persevere despite it, even while dealing with it. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes
Yeah.
a
So
lot of
that's
sense.
why I said so that was a that and that's the ideal situation what Styles did as far as taking over the child. But the more ideal situation is the mother and father together, poor
Right.
resources. And another thing you would like to notice about the movie is the mother was progressing, excelling.
Right.
The brother, to gain his independence, he was an entrepreneur. What
Right.
he did was he was a mortgage lender.
Right.
So that's why he talked about the gentrification.
Right.
Even then,
Exactly.
He talked about this 92, 91. He was talking about gentrification.
Even then, yeah. And he pointed it out to, as a matter of fact, he held court with the gang members.
Right, with the men.
With
right.
the men who
right.
were portrayed as the gang members.
And another reason why Ricky was like he was is because he got the tutelage of Trey's father.
Right.
Notice he ain't that the first time he talked. He said your father's like Malcolm
Farrakhan. Right.
So he's been getting the teachings
from him
from the father
quite some time.
And if you notice when he first came, the kids already knew him anyway.
Right, because he lived across the street.
He was already talking to the kids when
Ricky's mom.
Right. So he was already had relationships with the youth in the neighborhood.
Right.
That's the difference of men being involved. You know, and he showed it on many ways, especially an educated man.
Right.
Right? And the difference of, and like I said, I believe what he was trying to show also is what our system created with class gaps within the same family. Right?
Right.
Because you see how he was living and you see in her house.
Right.
Now, he was an entrepreneur. She was an executive.
Right.
She lived better as an executive than he did as an entrepreneur.
At the same time, he worked for himself and
right.
she worked for somebody.
Right. So, but they were showing you classes.
Comparing and contrasting.
And that's and that's that with them feeling non-threatened by black women excelling them on the corporate level.
As opposed to
a black man.
Right. Good point.
So that was just a deep that's a deep movie.
Right.
I plan to start doing movie reviews eventually. Somebody told me I should do that.
Yeah.